We're currently getting ready to start our Unit 4, which is color. So as I click on that, I'm going to share this PDF first at the top. Okay, here we go. I found this information. I just thought it was a great informative piece. It's called a Crash Course of Color Theory. And it does say color is relative. A color's appearance is influenced by the light shining on it and the color surrounding it. So just realize even though these greens, small squares are the same, they actually have a different kind of feel when you look in the middle and you start to see how these start to change. So color is relative. Hue impacts the color. When converted to grayscale, an assortment of hues at 100% brightness and saturation reveals a range of gray scales. So we can actually see how strong a color is, can be compared to value, which is our lights and darks. Color is psychological. We have a PowerPoint coming up that talks about the meanings of colors, what they mean for even in different cultures as well. Colors are often associated with certain moods. For instance, blue is thought to express a sense of sadness, and even Picasso had a blue period where literally he only painted with blue. Unconventional colors in advertising really do stand out and it draws your eyes. Color has cultural significance. Saturation affects vibrancy. So how do you feel like when things look like fluorescent, or when it works with things that are not as quite strong, they're a little subdued, and then you put a really popping color next to it. So does that make that show up even more? Simultaneous contrast is visually powerful. So like looking at complementary colors, meaning colors opposite each other, and see what happens when you use those two same colors and see what happens when they're placed next to each other or adjacent. Color has a 60-30-10 rule, and had to be reminded of this one. This rule states that color schemes work best when used proportionally. 60% of the primary color, 30% of a secondary color, and 10% of some kind of accent color. So it's meaning mostly one color, a second color, and then a little bit of a third little pop color. So I was remembering that one. The relationship between text and color is crucial, meaning how do you want it to show up? This is very legible, this is not. So a lot of people that design road signs and things like that have to realize, and they do realize, that certain colors really read well when they're used together. Color accessibility can't be ignored. Some people experience color blindness, so it's best not to rely on color alone to visually convey information. Okay, so people actually can see all of this differently, so we have to be aware of how we use color in signs. Any two colors can be harmonious. So colors work best when one or both colors contain some of the other. So you can see a little bit of this is a combination of purple and yellow, and the same thing with purple and yellow, but these are also very harmonious and can work together. Basic color schemes are best. Implementing too many colors in design lessens the impact of them all. So just keep it simple with not too many colors, because it gets visually kind of busy. And I did want to go through this because it's kind of common sense, and we think about this again in terms of graphic design when we use our color pickers when we are designing. So this is the first formative sheet that you download into Notability, and there's a little bit of matching for color vocabulary, and there's a PowerPoint that'll help you with color vocabulary. So like hue, if you go down to that is the name of a pure color determined by its specific wavelength in a light or color spectrum, or like your spectrum of your Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, violet. So that would be E, and you'd put the E right here, and you'd go back through all of these. When I do matching, I typically like to read this whole entire side first. That's just how I like to do it. Then it's easier to find over here the correct term. But these are worth 10 points. So write again the letter right here. There is a separate PowerPoint that will help you fill out again meaning and symbolism of color. So what are 3 things you know about black? 3 things you know about white? And there's a separate PowerPoint for those two things, and then you can turn that one in. So that's here's the color vocab for that one, here's color meanings for that one. So then you would have all your formative information ready. When you start the projects for color, here we go. Download this worksheet into Notability. It's your summative worksheet. Again, you can choose any app that you want to for this. So it's just loading in. You are going to be doing, first of all, it's called the after image activity using complementary color pairs. Again, those are the color opposites. The requirements are going to be 30 or more colors of consistent size, and they need to be small. So again, the same colors, complementary colors, to make sure you're doing color opposites. So make sure you look at the color wheel right here. And then you're going to describe right here for your artist statement what is happening when you look at this. So when I did my example, I used red, violet, and yellow, green. So choose your color opposites and then make this project. All right. This is in the style of an artist, and you'll see him in the PowerPoint, and his name is, my mind just went black, Larry Poons. And he would do his with oranges and blues and all sorts of things. And he was just really great about making non-objective work, meaning it's just color and patterns and stuff like that. So again, 30 or more colors of consistent size for the little ones, at least 30. There's a PowerPoint that would show you, like, if you did Photoshop, how to put all the dots on layers and stuff like that. Your second one looks easy, and it's not as many points. You're going to do 2 squares on black and white. Now, I did blue, so you don't have to do blue, but make sure they're squares. All right. It says stare into the center of your work, like where I have this right now. Describe what is happening in the 2 smaller boxes. Does one look bigger? Does one look lighter? Does one look darker? You're learning again on those contextual relationships of color. 2 squares on warm and cool. So I'll pick some more colors. I used orange because it is one of my favorite colors. And you're putting that same color on warm and that same color on a cool color, and see how they start to change. And then again, you write and describe what is happening to you visually. So those are the 3 assignments that you create in either a painting or a drawing app. Then you're going to analyze this analysis of an advertisement and talk about color. And there are 7 things you need to answer on here. So what's the color vocabulary term used in this advertisement? It's more than just warm colors. There's a specific term for this. The hint is it starts with A. All right. What 3 main colors did the artist use? How do you know this? What was the first thing you looked at when seeing this ad? What was the purpose of this ad? Is it a product or service? Who's the target audience? And talk about unity, how this all goes well together in this advertisement. So that would actually help you cover some more standards as well. So 3 Photoshop things you're creating, and then your analysis. So that would be what you need to do for your color assignments. Thank you.